everybody. Today is May 18th. Today we're doing government and security, so we can get all our doom scrolling out of the way early this week. And there's a lot of doom scrolling. But before we get to the doom scrolling, we have another orange soda to try.
But before we get to the orange soda, we have someone to thank for this newscast.
Ah, yes.
Linode!
It took you a minute. Who else could it be?
Yeah, it's always the note.
That anticipation. No, Linode. Level 1 News is brought to you by Linode, which is your Linux hosting partner. They've got so much good stuff. There's a coupon for you below if you just want to get started and try something. Get $100 of Linode credits to try whatever you'd like. They've got Amazon S3 compatible object storage, which I think is an incredible deal.
We had a comment on last week's Friday video, and someone said, "What the hell is Linode?" So maybe you should start at the beginning.
So if you want to host something in the cloud, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, Linode is where it's at. If you want to get away from big tech, Linode is definitely not big tech. You can host your own Nextcloud, which is a document storage thing. It's like your own private Google Drive with some extra functionality. It's really like a little bit Google Drive and a little bit SharePoint. There's what was the book server that you had? It was was it Caliber server?
Caliber, yeah.
Yeah, so you can host, like, imagine having your own ebook collection and bookmarks work and annotations work.
Well, the way I use it, I don't know if this would be great to use on the cloud, but the way I use it is with is it Guacamole, the desktop thing in Linux? Yeah, I think it's Guacamole. Guacamole actually runs the desktop browser over the internet beautifully. Nice. Yeah. So that's great. You guys want to see a video about that?
That'd probably be really interesting.
It's just
hosted on Linode.
It's a Docker container.
Remember that time that Amazon deleted books that people bought because they didn't have the rights to it anymore?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with Linode because your data is inside Linode. They don't look at it. They don't care. Because Linode is awesome. They've also got how-tos and tutorials for learning how to do stuff. So if you want to level up your job skills.
If you just want a Linux node, get it? Just a base, it's just a Linux computer in the cloud. And you get $100 to play with for free.
And they're also hosting our Minecraft server.
Yes,
so if you've been
still
causing
going
grief
very
there.
strong.
I also had a comment that says, "How do I get to the Minecraft server?" Well, it's on the forum.
Yep.
You guys to visit the forum.
Forum.level1text.com. It's fine. It's much better. Some people left, and now it's actually better.
More people need to leave.
So you can be replaced by YouTube commenters.
Fresh people, like Amazon. There's a story about Amazon later that describes how that's good. I don't know if I agree with it.
Yeah.
But all right, let's get to most people are here for this. Now this one I don't expect you to be excited about because we've heard. Now this is Sunkissed.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't have fond memories. This is zero sugar, which implies that this is a different formulation, maybe.
And Fanta is the only one left that I think I can source around here, but I have not been able to find it.
Sodium benzoate. What, Krista?
Get some orange LaCroix.
But that's not diet orange soda. I mean, are you willing to branch out into other types of...
At this point, I don't care.
but, I mean, some people are suggesting some really off-the-wall orange sodas, but we're trying to find a replacement here, right? Because, I mean, the Diet Crush, you really consume a lot of that.
I used to, yeah. Like 2 cans a day.
When it was available.
Before the shortages hit.
It's very orange. Very flat.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
It's weird how the different orange soda companies have wildly different carbonation levels.
Yeah. So, I polished off the 2-liter in the week intervening since the last one that you brought. And as the carbonation goes down, the aspartame taste goes up. So, this isn't bad. It's drinkable, but it's like maybe C-.
But you wouldn't buy it for a C-, right? I mean...
No, probably not. I think that I've had the Diet Sunkissed Orange, and the Diet Sunkissed Orange was definitely worse than this. So this is maybe the zero sugar version of it.
Do they do both now?
Maybe they just changed the formula. A lot of places change the formula because of the global situation. We can't source electrical components. They can't source industrial waste ingredients, I guess.
Whatever that sweetener is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's... I saw that Crush had Diet Grape soda.
That might be worth a try.
You like grape?
I do.
But do you think that's the same sweetener that goes in Diet Orange?
I don't know.
All right, well. C- it is, chat. Well, you didn't give letter grades to the other ones. Your favorite one so far was Big K, right?
B plus.
Okay. So
We're going for that A.
That leaves Fanta. And maybe we'll branch over into Grape.
The thirst mutilator.
But with that out of the way, we can get right into government news. And this one is not shocking. This is a headline we've seen many, many times before. But it should make you mad. You should be angry about this.
The headline is Pentagon surveilling Americans without a warrant, Senator reveals. Ryan, we've been over this. We can't. This is an old story. This is from like 1999.
Yep, March 13th, 2021.
What? Oh, they're still doing it?
It's literally yesterday.
It's 20 years later? What? Echelon. We were talking about Echelon in the late 90s.
But see, you're totally missing the important distinction here. That was when they were spying. What's different here is they're paying someone else to spy, and that's okay.
There's multiple areas where your data can get leaked. Fantastic.
So this is good old Ron Wyden, I think, right?
Yeah.
And he is questioning this, and I don't think he's getting any answers yet. I don't know if he ever will.
He's going to get disappeared if he's not careful.
So, it's more of the same. Unfortunate. Sad. Oops. And I have to say, when it comes to like Snopes and PolitiFact and all that trash, I think they are absolutely. I think they have a political agenda. I don't think they are factual. I don't believe in them at all. But that's the rub, people. That's free speech. When you hate it, you still have to support it. That's how it works. It doesn't work like this.
The Detroit News reports that a Michigan GOP lawmaker floats a bill to register and fine fact checkers. It's like you have to be a member of some sort of fact checking organization for publishers or print online in Michigan, and if not, you get fined. Oh, and also you have to carry $1 million insurance policy, which somebody could collect if you harm them.
And that fine is $1,000 a day.
Pay to play.
That doesn't seem like that'll have a chilling effect on speech at all.
Look at this guy's haircut. I mean, I hate to just shit on somebody's hair because but I think he needs to take the step. I mean, what's going on
Just
there?
let it go, man.
Space travel has really hit a big revolution lately.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting more closer and closer to the common man. Now, I wouldn't call these people common.
It was a roller coaster of emotion when I was reading the sentence about costs.
Yeah. So you won't be able to do this, most likely. If you are in this category, patreon.com/level1techs. But I think most of you probably aren't.
CBS News reports first fully civilian spaceflight to space station moves forward with NASA contract. And so if you read the article, it's exciting. It talks about Axiom's AX-1 mission. And it's like, all right, it's going to be $1,500 a day for food. It's like, ooh, all right. I mean, I could probably do that.
It's a lot of astronaut ice cream.
It's going to be a real short trip, but all right, it's cool. $2,000 a day for toiletries and laundry and other stuff. It's like, that's I mean, okay. So that's, $3,500 a day. I mean, gonna have to save for a while, but I mean, it's the experience of a lifetime. $168,000 in miscellaneous expenses a day. Oh, never mind. I'm good.
Now, one of the things that I often think about when you talk about civilian spaceflight is like, well, what about all the rigorous stuff that the astronauts go through?
They have to go through that.
They are doing the centrifuge. They're doing the underwater suit training for zero gravity. And, Krista, how exciting would you be about this? An Alaskan camping trip for bonding and leadership training.
Oh, that would be cool. I would be more interested in that, and that would be a lot less expensive. Just going to Alaska to camp.
You think that's factored into the overall price, or is that
it's probably
a la
extra.
carte?
No, it's not a la carte. It's like you have to complete ABC, XYZ.
So it's exciting. There's a fighter pilot going and a couple of rich guys, and not us.
And not Simone Yetch, which is sad because she really wanted to go.
And going up on the
I should have picked Simone.
Going up on the Dragon capsule.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And I should have put this with the DoD story.
This one is definitely under Level 1 predicts.
Well, this is the same thing. More and more. I mean, this is just the wave of the future. It is, hey, Americans don't like us spying on them. So we will pay someone else to spy on them.
Listen,
and that's different.
We've got some big fans of Level 1 on the inside. They're listening to this week's episode well ahead of you right now.
The inside of what? Oh, the border protection?
Yeah.
I don't know. I bet they're pretty busy right now.
The Intercept is reporting that your car is spying on you, and Customs and Border Protection, this contract shows the risks. A vehicle forensics kit can reveal where you've driven, what doors you've opened, and who your friends are. Yeah, so all of this data is collected by your car, and even if you don't have the OnStar subscription, even if you don't, Tesla cars especially, whew, Lord. But all these different vehicles that are smart vehicles, they're hoovering up all of that data. This is a theme that's going to carry over into the business section. Even your toasters are doing this, and it sounds really tinfoil hat, and yet there are countless stories constantly covering this.
Now, we talked a lot about how they're switching to wireless onboard diagnostics. This is not that. This is a Celebrite-style company. It's not Celebrite. You remember what the name of it was?
Mm.
And they have built a device similar to the Stingray type thing, or what's the name of the Celebrite unlocker? Is that the
Gray key?
Gray key, yeah. Similar to the Gray key, but you plug it into the car. Now, here's the crazy part. You're like, hey, you guys have already talked about all this. Yeah, it's recording, and they go into detail here. Like, even when your brake lights come on, that gets logged. Think about how quick that's going to kill that SD card in the Tesla. But the crazy thing here is when you join your phone via Bluetooth, all your messages and contacts get stored in the car.
Yeah. So imagine a rental car. It's like, I've cleared it. It's like, it's still in the logs. You've cleared it from the database, but it turns out there's also logs on top of the database. They collected something like 138 phones from one particular car.
So there are ways that you're probably not thinking about that could screw you. For example, hey, no, I wasn't there that day. Oh, really? Because your Bluetooth joined to this car that was there at that time. Explain that.
Joy.
Wow.
And the government, great way to frame somebody, because your Bluetooth beacon is just broadcasting. But who would believe you?
You could clone it.
Yeah.
You could spoof it.
Super easily. It turns out those devices are literally built to do that.
Every day a dumb phone looks better.
Can you get a dumb phone without Bluetooth?
No.
Yes,
you can turn it off, though. The Fairphone has dip switches, hardware dip switches that let you kill individual pieces of hardware. That might be the way to go.
What a terrible
Fairphone's
world.
still not offered here, is it? I thought it was only in Europe.
I think it is still only in Europe.
It sucks.
Now, you might hear that and think to yourself, why is our government not doing anything? And Ron Wyden is. He's trying.
Oh, he's trying.
Or at least he loves the sound bites, but I don't know. I mean, he's pretty consistent. And the truth is, they're not doing anything about the things that matter. They're wasting their time.
Reuters reports that there's a bill to ban TikTok on U.S. government devices, and it's passed the committee. So I was reading this and thinking, like, why don't you just ban all of the Google Play Store? Because it's all just as bad.
Why do government employee phones need any type of social media?
Not only that, we have a story later about Apple, and it's like, oh, I thought it was just the Play Store. No, it turns out the Apple Store is just as bad. They just gag people. But we'll get to that. That's business, I think, tomorrow.
And not all surveillance is outsourced yet, but that probably will be eventually. And they want to scoop up everything. There's going to be big money in contracting data farming for the powers that be.
Yeah.
That is going to be a huge industry because they want to widen that net even further.
Yeah. NBC News reports the DHS launches a warning system to find domestic terrorism threats on public social media. And they use the whole January thing as a picture here, which is like,
Throughout the whole article.
let's not call that domestic terrorism. Let's call that the idiocy that it was.
Those people were not threatening.
Well, I mean,
I don't
there
know about
were
that.
people that were armed, and there were people that were in mortal danger, but it's not terrorism.
I'm not threatened by those people. This is an interesting story where bureaucracy, it's like a rock and a hard place of bureaucracy.
Yeah.
And it's so bad, and we're so wrapped up in this whirlpool that they're just like, all right, just forget it. We're not even going to do that anymore, which maybe is the best possible thing.
Yeah.
Right?
The Wall Street Journal reports that the Pentagon is weighing ending the JEDI contract amid Amazon court fight. So Amazon is kind of winning in court. Turns out those Ivy League lawyers, the giant team of them, and the Pentagon's just like, we don't care. We're just turn it all off. We don't need this.
We just want to spy. Is that so bad? So they're saying that this court case, if Amazon gets another couple of wins, it almost guarantees that it stretches the timeline out for the court case so far that JEDI will probably be obsolete by the time they build it.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Yeah. So just cancel it. Just turn it off. Forget it.
I wish we could stop all government programs like that. How great would that be? I thought this, when I read the headline, I thought this was the rural fund. But no, this is a new fund that the FCC has decided to throw. It's a lot of money, but based on the values we've been seeing coming out of the government lately, it's kind of a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. FCC approves $7 billion broadband connectivity fund, which is also going to fund devices. You can get $50 to $100 off of a tablet if you live in a qualifying area, and even more than that if you live in a Native American reservation.
I think you have to hit an economic threshold. But if you do, you can get a lot of subsidies, and those of you out there who are a little low on cash these days should definitely check this out.
The way that these kind of subsidies have worked in the past, at least in our neck of the woods, is the provider actually gets the subsidy. So it's not like if they give you internet service for $50 a month, they're actually also collecting $50 a month from the government, and you never see that or are scarcely aware that it's even happening.
Like those, remember the scandal where they were cheating those Obama phones?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. I mean, we earmarked $7 billion and maybe $2 billion of it get to the people.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, those Chinese companies, if you'll think back to when Donald Trump was president, and this was everything that was in the news, I mean, before that whole pandemic thing, and he made some big decisions about blocking them, and a couple of those companies came around and they were like, okay, let's go to court because you cannot prove that we work for the Communist Party. And in some cases, maybe they didn't have a case.
The U.S. government has taken Xiaomi off the blacklist because they don't have anything. Now, they have presented some pretty good evidence against Huawei, but Xiaomi, not so much.
So good job fighting that. That will probably save their company. They are now going to be allowed to supply American companies with parts again. That's very important. Unless it gets, appealed or something. And the big, what was the name of it? Harmonious?
Long March?
No, the Chinese space station.
I was like Heaven. What was it, Chris?
Harmony. Anyway, the new space station, the core module was launched, and Harmony in Space is underway. We're just waiting for it to reach Earth.
Harmony in Space, yeah.
And no, I mean that as Harmony in Space. But they made a small error. They left a large part in orbit, and we were all kind of on the edge of our seats wondering, where's that going to fall down?
NASA criticizes China's handling of rocket reentry as debris lands near Maldives. Is that how you say that?
Yes.
I always read it as Maldives, but I feel like that's just my uneducatedness showing.
It's definitely Maldives. That's a series of islands, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was the Maldives.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of them, but maybe not.
This was trending on Twitter like the whole day that they knew it was going to come in, and then when it landed in the Indian Ocean, everyone was like, "Oh, I was all hyped for this for nothing!" Like, I got upset.
Where did they want it to fall?
Are you watching from the
in their
Maldives
yard?
on Starlink? Because that would be pretty cool.
And one of the big things that the social media companies have figured out, the tobacco companies figured this out a long time ago and used it to great effect. And that is you indoctrinate as soon as humanly possible. Very important. And because we have seen this kind of behavior before and see what it leads to, a lot of people don't like that idea.
Facebook should halt Instagram youth, some attorneys general are reporting. So, yeah, that sounds an awful lot like a certain German program for the youth.
So Facebook is really defending it, and it's like, no, we're not going to track anything. We're going to be really careful. We're going to have a lot of moderators. We're going to do everything we can, but it still just doesn't seem like.
Do these attorneys general, are they familiar with Hasbro? Did they see Masters of the Universe?
Yeah, but in Masters of the Universe, it was unidirectional. You couldn't communicate back and with other people about it, or that would have been way crazier.
Would Hasbro have been able to make like the equivalent of like crack cocaine toys more than they already were? If they could get that, close the feedback loop. It's like, oh, if He-Man had a spaceship, and then it would just be the unstoppable, toy, because like for whatever reason children really want that toy.
Maybe. I mean, it'd have to be a weird combination of what we got now and what we had then.
Yeah.
Because some things we have now would stop that from happening.
Yeah.
But, yeah, kids on the internet, I know you can't stop them, but you should try.
Or limit how much time they're on the internet. Maybe that's a good middle ground.
Try to give them the intellectual tools to understand what was happening. I mean, reading that kind of stuff is what helped me, not on the internet, but like reading books that were about things that were maybe before I was ready for them. That was actually helpful for helping me understand things.
Yeah, but when's the last time you sat down and read a book like that instead of reading Twitter or something?
Yeah.
That's the modern child's dilemma that they're faced with. I mean, that's a hard thing to overcome. That's like choosing the celery over the cake.
Rough.
We all know
I don't know anything about that.
The celery's better. We all know
though?
it.
Is
Yes.
It's better for you,
Objectively.
but it doesn't taste as good.
I like apples. I'll go with you so far as fresh, nice apples.
I don't know what that equivalent is in the tech world. But I do know that when you go too far in protecting the children, and oh yes, you can go too far, you can get into some really, really stupid decisions. And that's what we see here.
The Guardian reports that the online safety bill is a recipe for censorship, says campaigners. Proposals, hand Ofcom, I guess, the power to identify lawful but harmful content and punish social networks that fail to remove it. This definitely won't be abused.
How Orwellian is lawful but harmful?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So basically what they're doing is they're giving them arbitrary power to blacklist posts that don't violate other forms of, restricted speech, but just they don't like it.
Can you imagine if it was like one of those blur overs? It was like, the Ministry of Truth has decided that this page has a blur over. If you'd like to bypass the blur over, click here to be added to the watch list. Huh. Okay.
In our version of those events, it would be pay here. Pay the government an extra tax to see this content.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, provide a credit card number and pay $5 to prove that you're fiscally responsible enough to handle this content.
Yeah.
And then some marketing company takes advantage of the reverse psychology of that, and you click on it and it's just Tide Pods, and it's like, what? I've been robbed.
Level1 predicts.
I kind of feel that way about a lot of paywalls.
Yeah.
Well, the UK is also bringing some new legislation against everybody's favorite big tech company.
Apple faces UK class action for App Store overcharging. Yeah, it's more of the same. We got a lot of Apple stories over the next couple of weeks because this epic lawsuit, man, there are some gold nuggets in that.
Yeah, it just keeps coming out. And those internal emails, boy, they reveal a lot. This is Western Australia. If you think this is Washington State, no. Western Australia. I wish they would
Confusing.
I wish they would not use acronyms.
Yeah.
In these headlines.
Initially, I was like, and then it was like, well, we have the same problems as our Aussie brethren.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all the ransomware is certainly proving that, isn't it? But they did an audit. The hilarious thing about this is an annual audit. And the stuff that they found last year, they found exactly the same this year.
And more.
Nothing has changed except it's gotten worse.
328 weaknesses found by WA Auditor-General in 50 local government systems. The computer systems of 50 Western Australian local government entities were probed, and the result was the finding of 328 control weaknesses, with 33 considered as significant by the Auditor-General. Listen, I've got news for you. If cybercriminals come knocking in Western Australia, you better hope that you can conduct business without computers, because it's that bad. But don't feel bad. The entire rest of the world is as bad, if not worse, because nobody wants to do any computer janitoring. Nobody.
There's got to be one country that stands out. I don't know which one it would be.
Maybe Germany? Maybe?
Well,
I was going to say Switzerland, but...
Speaking of Germany, They have the big WhatsApp terms of service change happened. It happened already, right?
Yes. We have several stories about that.
So it's either agree to these Orwellian new rules or don't use WhatsApp.
Well, you slowly get squeezed out of WhatsApp. It's a little bit of a boiling frog situation.
Well, yeah, right now you can still, I think, like answer calls and respond to messages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But eventually,
Yeah.
you won't be able to. And Germany is saying, "Come on, Zuck, you know this ain't gonna fly."
Facebook ordered to stop collecting German WhatsApp data. So in the EU, you can't, hold it hostage. It's like, I don't agree to these terms, but if the website is offered to the general public, you have to still let them use the website without giving up their data. And so this is going to be a test.
But isn't this going to be one of those California type things? How do you know that a German isn't traveling?
Yeah.
And is that still not okay? I don't think it is.
We'll soon know.
Germany's going to get some nice, juicy money out of Facebook. Nice. A couple weeks ago, we saw that Joe Biden has announced he is throwing a boatload of money into the economy, and a little bit of it is going to be earmarked for chips, foundries, shoring up all these supply chain issues. Will it work? Well, I don't know. But one thing I do know is every country sees the intelligence of this decision.
Korea is going to dump, South Korea obviously, is going to dump $450 billion in a push to become the world's global chip maker. So SK Hynix and Samsung stand to benefit tremendously from that, and this article sort of talks about that.
So right now, Korea is responsible for most of our storage transistors, but they are well behind in the CPU and GPU type space. That's what they want to change. Could be good. I don't think it's as cheap to manufacture there, though, as Taiwan, right? Not even close. So we'll see.
And Hong Kong has gotten decidedly dicier when it comes to semiconductor components supplying. I wonder why.
What caused that?
Sorry, Hong Kong. Hope you're okay. Our heart goes out to you.
Except our heart goes out to you, but most people have forgotten because there was a really well-timed thing that happened.
Listen, if there was a government program where I could adopt like a Hong Kong family and they could like live in my basement until they get their stuff sorted out, I would totally sponsor them.
You would reap so many benefits from that.
I don't even intend for that, but okay.
No, but I'm saying like they would help you out in so many ways.
Probably.
I could see, you could be like, how did I ever live without this Hong Kong family? They're so great. I mean, you could get a bad one maybe, but on average, I bet that would be fantastic.
At the very least, you probably learn some interesting recipes.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, they'd be cooking for you.
Yeah,
It'd be amazing.
Well, they'd be cooking for themselves, and then maybe you could try
I'd totally
some of
do
the stuff
that.
they're cooking.
I would totally do that. No strings attached.
You're gonna get a lot of applications.
I don't think the visa program works that way exactly.
Maybe we get them a tech visa. H-1B.
Level 1 adventures with H-1B visas. How broken are they? A video series brought to you by Level 1 Text.
Well, let's do a block about the pipeline. Oh boy. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard at this point, there's a gas pipeline, and
Bit of a gas shortage here in America.
as we talked about, security at these types of infrastructure places, not great. And some people figured that out and made a lot of money.
Colonial Pipeline has paid nearly $5 million to the people that held them for ransom. Because what are you going to do?
It took them 5 hours to pay that because as soon as they figured out how bad it was going to be,
Yeah.
they were like, we have to do whatever we can to
Now,
fix this.
it turns out that the tool for doing decrypting was much, much slower than the one for doing encrypting. So it's still running.
They did have backups, though. It sounds like they may have been able to just roll all the backups over. But they were so eager to get it back up, like it was going to cost them so much more money just to leave it down. They paid, and then they started rolling backups over.
Yeah.
So
The other thing I heard was that it was not like something wrong with the pipeline itself. It was just the payment system. That was the problem.
well, are you going to give away free gas?
Yeah.
I mean, we were like 6 months ago. Wasn't it like we'll pay you $50 to take a barrel of gas? Wasn't that where we were? Not, a year ago?
Yeah. And like you say, there were shortages, but I think those shortages were almost all self-inflicted.
Yes,
We didn't have to have shortages.
we did not.
Same with the toilet paper.
Yes.
Georgia and North Carolina were the most heavily hit, and I'm not sure how. Some of that was definitely panic buying, but I think there probably would have been like a blip, but it wouldn't have been nearly as bad.
Don't worry, the nonsense section is going to have lots of hilarious stories about people storing gasoline in improper containers.
Which is, I don't know if it's necessarily hilarious.
Well, horrifying
sad.
and hilarious. But also, one of those weep for the future of humanity things, because it's like you should know how insanely dangerous it is. And if you don't...
In fact, they have a little sticker on all those pumps. And it says, it's illegal to distribute this into a non-approved container. Maybe they didn't know what an approved container was. Target bags are not.
How long is it going to be before those warning signs say things like, no gas, bad container?
No, it's going to be, that little prompt where you have to put in your zip code and try to be, and it's like, all right, are you using an external container? Please hold it in front of the camera. And AI is going to look at it and be like, I don't know.
Oh my God, it's idiocracy. It's completely idiocracy. No.
Or they'll do one of those things where you have to get the attendant to fill up your containers because you can't be trusted. Well, the pipeline group called DarkSide has confirmed, yes, we were responsible. They actually even apologized a little bit because they were like, well, we didn't really mean for this to happen.
It wasn't. The apology was not. It was. We're not connected to anything that has to do with political groups because we kind of blamed Russia. And they're like, no, we don't have anything to do with Russia. We're just in this for the money.
Which I guess is better, but maybe not. But anyway, they're not sitting back and enjoying their millions. They are still working hard.
Yeah, hacker group behind Colonial pipeline attack claims it has 3 new victims. Oh, no.
Only one of them's American, I think.
And they were not critical infrastructure. It was a Scottish company that does construction, a renewable energy company in Brazil, and a services reseller. That could leak some information.
Yeah.
That was the U.S. one, Illinois. So
bad news if you're in Illinois.
Yeah, look forward to more news about that. I'm sure we will be hearing about it in the coming months. And the Colonial is the company that owned the pipeline, and they had actually been expecting this kind of thing, but apparently didn't get ready in time.
Colonial's pipeline sought a cyber manager. Was that really the headline that they used? Cyber manager?
I think it was cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity manager. Yeah, it's just... and that was months and months before this happened. So they knew. They must have been audited. They must have known.
I don't know if they ever filled the job. They wanted a computer science master's and experience with that type of thing and, like just protecting infrastructure.
Pays $10 an hour.
I bet it'll pay 20 now. And here's what you were alluding to. This kind of a non-apology. I mean, the apology would be to give the money back, right? But they're not doing that.
Yeah. Pipeline hackers say they are apolitical and will choose targets more carefully next time. Our goal is to make money, not create problems for society, the statement continues.
How can you not create problems for society by being a ransomware operation?
This strikes me as kind of like the Dr. Evil thing. And it's like $1 million. And it's like, well, but okay, here you go. Just don't turn it off. We'll pay it. Just don't turn it off.
But then you're going to have a lot more groups getting in line for that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work.
It also means that Colonial they are in as bad a shape as this was, although I think this was related to an exchange patch. But if their internal state, you can't manage your infrastructure a hard spiky firewall with a crunchy nougat center. Everything has to be, a hard crunchy firewall all the way down. So the fact that they paid ransomware here means that there's, hundreds, if not thousands of criminals that will be targeting them specifically because you don't fix infrastructure like that is so bad overnight.
I think they turned the gas off out of fear.
Yeah.
I think the gas could have kept pumping.
Yeah.
But they were afraid it would be like a Stuxnet type of deal.
Yeah.
And then that would be really bad. So, this seems pale in comparison, but you do have to remember that they aren't just after the big companies. They'd be happy to hack you as well.
The FBI warns of cybercriminals abusing search ads to promote phishing sites. Because if you can't expect Google to police the App Store, or Apple for that matter, as we'll have in a story later, why would you think the ads are any different? It's like you search for a thing, you get an ad for a thing, and it's like, oh, that's the thing. Nope, that's malware.
And they had a brilliant plan. So they would take you to a fake page that asked for all the credentials they needed to get into your bank account or whatever it was they were getting into. And then they would have a fake error they'll be like, oh, somebody's going to get in contact with you to help you through this. And then the fake support agent would call you up to keep you on the phone while they cleaned you out to make sure that you didn't log in, or get an email that was like, oh, I don't know where this login's from. Brilliant. And it worked.
Ready.gov has a section. They've added a section that's like cybercrime as something to prep yourself against. And I was like, when did that get added?
See, the really insane thing about that is that, like, our, near retiree citizens, I don't know what else to call them, and like retiree elderly people, they are completely unequipped to deal with any scenario like this.
Oh my God. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get my parents through multi-factor authentication.
Well, no, I
don't see it.
If your parents get a call and it's like, hello, I'm from the bank, I would like to help you log into your account and make sure everything is okay because we've seen some suspicious activity. Every elderly person I know would be like, sounds good. Thank you, dearie.
Yeah. Luckily, right now, it's such broken English that you can use that. But they'll get better at that.
You can exploit the naturally racist tendencies of the elderly to protect themselves, I guess.
Now, this is funny because, how bad does it have to be for the Chinese to get angry about it? I mean, we have this, and I think people are ignorant of it. But if they knew, I think they'd be annoyed by it. The Chinese have a much higher tolerance for this kind of thing, and still, this is so bad.
The South China Morning Post reports that the Chinese TV maker Skyworth is under fire for excessive data collection that users call spying. So they apologized. They had partnered with an analytics firm after a user found one of its smart TVs was collecting data on all connected devices. So it was looking at their network and their other stuff. It was basically a rootkit for their house.
But we know that our TVs do this as well.
Yeah.
In fact, we have a video in the business section about Vizio and how they make half of their revenue from that.
So it's certainly nothing new. And it's weird that China, I guess it's one of those things where it's like, don't steal, the government doesn't like competition.
Or we don't care if you spy on foreign citizens, but Chinese citizens, no.
Do not do that.
And if you are someone who is full tinfoil hat and you feel like you have to do everything to protect yourself, which is not a dumb way to be. I mean, you're right. I just don't know how practical it is. But you might be one of those people who uses Tor for all of your internet traffic. And I think they've improved it enough that you can actually get usable speeds now.
Yeah.
But you got to think about where you are coming out of that network.
Thousands of Tor exit nodes are attacked cryptocurrency users over the past year. So this is it's a little convoluted, but a bad actor took advantage of people that were providing Tor exit nodes, perhaps not maliciously, but like misconfigurations in people that were doing that, and created a situation of sort of mistaken identity. So it was like, oh, this is a trusted provider that's providing some Tor exit nodes, and somebody set up some similar servers in the same data center, but that were not actually from that provider. And it was basically trying to do every man-in-the-middle attack imaginable for people that use cryptocurrencies on like the websites for managing that, to try to, I guess, break in, steal their credentials, whatever.
Nasty. And a lot of people were like, oh, I got to keep this really secret. I'm about to do a huge crypto transaction. Better use Tor. And you get burned by that. It's unfortunate. The proctoring software issue continues to burn bright because universities are more and more leaning on technology to find cheaters. But as we know about AI technology, it can make mistakes.
Online cheating scandal has sort of rocked Dartmouth Medical School. So this is after the fact too, which makes it perhaps even more egregious. They're like, oh, we might have a situation where somebody was cheating. They had a primary device and a backup device. And I was like, well, can you check and see if students were logged into the portal where their coursework was while they were taking the exam? Because they shouldn't have been. And it seems like they were, but it wasn't designed for actually detecting cheating. So this is sort of done after the fact. This seems like a really sloppy way to deal with it.
And it's the whole like prove you weren't doing this thing.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know they were being monitored.
Yeah.
So, medical school, as you can imagine, you get accused of cheating in medical school, your career is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to hire a cheater doctor?
He wants to be a pediatrician. May not get that now.
Disgusting. As we have alluded to, when it comes to juicy details about a big tech company, you got to go for the subpoena. And oh boy, Apple is just giving us just troves and troves of the stuff. It's amazing.
The Fortnite trial is exposing details about the biggest iPhone hack on record. It's Xcode Ghost, and you need to go search for that. That is a deeper rabbit hole that we could possibly cover, even if we talked about it for 30 minutes. But it turns out that over 128 million users worldwide were affected by this malware, and it was happening right under Apple's nose. So remember that the next time Apple says that their walled garden has better security. This was a library that was bundled in a lot of applications that was doing super malicious stuff, and it wasn't caught until security researchers found it externally. It wasn't Apple internally.
I didn't get this paywall earlier.
Oh, no.
Freight waves. Freight waves? Really? You know what we can do? We can get a quick flash of the headline.
Oh, no.
Boom.
For a trailer maker.
Oh.
No.
I still have it. It's not completely paywall for
If
me.
the friendly URL has it.
Trailer maker utility targeted in ransomware attack.
Woo. So
So these
Leak
guys
employee data.
they actually make the trailers that those trucks are hauling around. They're a huge company that does that. And they have a lot of money. And these people want it. If the trucks don't run, you think the gas shortage was bad? If the trucks don't run, we are so screwed.
That's the thing that like people were hoarding gas, and I was like, you realize your food comes on trucks that run on gas, right? Like there was no run on the stores, which was good, I guess, but like that's where my mind went.
Because you're going to get a lot of comments that are going to explain to you those run on diesel.
Oh, okay. Either way, not good news.
Well, I guess, no, the gas pipeline didn't run diesel, did it?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Engagement challenge. You guys know if the pipeline ran
If it did,
both?
we would have been screwed.
Do they refine further after they pipe it? There's a lot I don't know about gas pipelines. I'm discovering. And our final story is such a horrific vision of the future. And I know we say that a lot, but I mean, just think about this. And a lot of you are going to say, I'll never buy that. But think about this. If this is 10 years in the future, how often will you be ride sharing in like a self-driving car or something like that? Or you'll be in the back seat of an Uber, and all of a sudden every car will be built with screens in the back of the seats.
Imagine if this is the 1999 version of the Level 1 news, and we're saying that in the future all technology is used to collect data and spy on citizens, whether you want to or not.
Or this is the like 2000 Level 1 news, and we're like, they're going to start advertising to you on every available surface. Wait till the gas pump starts screaming at you every day.
I was going to say, the gas pumps already do this. We're already there.
That's
Like,
never going to happen. Oh, what's going to happen?
Ford has patented terrible billboard scanning tech and shows in-car ads. So when you drive by a billboard, your in-car ads are going to be like, hey, did you see that billboard? Oh, it's your favorite restaurant. Would you like to place an order? Good Lord.
I hate it. I have like a visceral reaction to this story that makes me so angry.
Now, if there's got to be a distracted driving argument against this if you're using the main center display, but I think cars are going to have more displays in them as we go forward.
You think it'll be like TV? Like if you ever watch the TV on like network television now, and you're watching a show, and then like an ad for another show plays in like the lower third, like there's an animation or the character comes out and they've been green screened, and it's just like a really obnoxious animation. Imagine that happening on your instrument dash in your car. It's like, wouldn't you like some TGI Fridays? And like the TGI Fridays mascot comes out and walks across your speedometer.
Or
I feel like we should have the right to like have our own, quiet mental space where you're not being bombarded with ads at all times.
yeah, we should have that.
But I don't think that's a reality that we're headed toward.
I think this will be more in cars when you're more of a passive participant in the ride. Like an Uber or a Lyft or a self-driving car.
Taxis, yeah.
It'll be a thing where you can mute it so you can take a little nap before work, but when it triggers certain billboards, they've paid for the unmute feature, and it's going to start blasting full volume.
What a dark future. Dark, dark future. I don't know what we can do to prevent it, but if you want to give us some money, that's totally fine.
Speaking of advertising, store.level1text.com.
We'll send Ford a strongly worded letter with your funds to support it. We're not really going to do that.
The postage will cost a lot, so.
But, hey, if we become super successful, when we get there, maybe we can buy one of those cars, tear it apart, figure out how to beat that. And then burn it.
This is going to be Exhibit A in the prosecution where they're like, see, it was premeditated device modification. That's illegal. It's like, wasn't illegal when we were talking about it? Right to repair, hello.
Krista, or should I say Big K? I'm not giving up on that. Big K. Give us the terror-filled scream of advertisements being beamed to the inside of your eyelids.
No. Oh, bye.